this is our goal was very simple. We wanted to get about 30 points, right? 30 points was our goal by February. But also, we have to make plans to start scouting, right? Scouting is really fundamental. It's a fundamental part of the game of Football Manager. You got to make sure that your scouts are out. You've got a plan. You got a workflow. So many things that we want to cover on scouting. Like, okay, basically, when it comes to scouting, right, there's so many ways of doing it. There's some good guides out there. The Football Manager podcast did a good overview on scouting. Certain things I don't like about scouting. So it was very hard for me to go like, oh yeah, I like scouting. No, actually, there are some parts of scouting I absolutely dislike. But we need to work around those things because this is the game that Football Manager is, right? So we have to play with the game the way it's set up. So right now, on today's show, we're going to deal with scouting. Now, important things to remember here is you will get data from both scouting and view-only leagues. So you don't have to be playing a game. I need to scout players and I'm only going to get them from playable leagues. You're going to get them from view-only leagues too. The only thing is, when it comes to data itself, you probably won't get match reports. But you will be offered some players from view-only leagues and leagues that are not even loaded. So if you send your scout out to Africa, no, you can't play in Nigeria, can you? But you can definitely scout Nigeria. There'll be players that come from Nigeria. So how do you know which nations to send your scouts to in the game of Football Manager? So what we need to do is decide what our plan is moving forward. So if I'm like me, I like to look for young players to fit into my squad. So I normally pick nations which have a good dynamic youth rating. Now, dynamic youth rating changes over time, but it takes a really long time for it to happen. So I take my top 10 nations. Top 10 nations include Brazil, Argentina, England, Spain, Italy, Germany, France. You got Portugal in there as well. And of course, you got other nations like Mexico, Colombia. Egypt is in the top 10. Then you've got Nigeria. So what I'd like to do is I like to divvy up and send my scouts to some of these places. So you got limitations in the game. You can't really send your scouts out to everywhere, can you? So you got to pick and choose. So normally that becomes even more challenging with if you have a staff size of like 4 for scouting, then you got to really pick and choose. So with Palemo, what I've done is I've decided, okay, fine. My scouting focus is going to be Denmark, Sweden, Norway. So that's where I've been focusing my energy and my time. So when you go and set up your scouting, it's going to be something like this, right? So you come to your scouting page, you got overview, you got scouting center, you got players, recruitment focus, scouting coverage, and shortlist. This is very important. This page is kind of important, the shortlist page. But let's just take a look at the scouting center first. You've got your cards list, people are going to come give you recommendations, right? Fine, we'll take the recommendations as they come. Players in range, this is based on your budget. Your range, right? This here is your scouting range. So the basically means, right, you're paying for a package that opens up the whole world. Right? So if I were to uncheck everything here, right? So if I uncheck everything here, these are all the players right now that are interested in transfer. Open this up. So I got 105,000 players in my database right now. That's a lot of players, right? So you can't possibly scout all of them. Okay. Now, assuming now that you wanted to go and scout, how would you set it up? Okay. Here, as you can see, I've got no recruitment focuses. I've got this completed and this active, right? Okay. Let's assume right now that 2 things we're going to do. Okay. Before I go there, we need to understand what this is. This is your scouted players database. I'm not a big fan of this because of one reason. SI does not give me an option of removing them, right? So when you get all these players, these are all the players that we've scouted over time, right? Notice that some of them have data, some of them don't have data, right? Okay, this data exists for that season only. So maybe they haven't started playing, right? You're gonna get data from everywhere. Like even leagues like, the first league of Croatia is not loaded, but we've got data coming in. Because view-only data also comes into the game. Leagues that you may not be loaded, they also come into the game. But the issue with this data is sometimes last year, I think FM22, we were a bit worried about, this data, it seems a bit off. Yeah, I'm going to live with the fact that I'm going to assume SI gets it right all the time. Right? It's easiest way. Okay, I'm just going to live on that assumption because otherwise the game becomes unplayable if you start thinking, oh, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, this doesn't work. I'm not going to go that direction. So these are all the players that you scouted. Now, when you come to your recruitment focus, you've got this, you can create a recruitment focus. Let's try, okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to create a recruitment focus. Any position from this tactic, current ability, I'm going to drop it all the way down to half a star. Why? Because there's something called a current ability check in the game. So if your scouts go out looking for players and your current ability is too high, they will fail what is known as a current ability check. You probably get no recommendations. So we're going to leave it to about 15 to 21. All right. So we're going to do top. Now, what's the difference between top, standard, and ongoing? Ongoing, if the scout already has knowledge of that place, I'm going to get to knowledge very soon. Good to leave him ongoing. Standard is just an assignment. You send somebody there. It's just one assignment, it's a standard. There's no priority. The guys will submit their results, and then stop priority, they'll submit the results earlier. Now, the thing here is this. The difference between these two is sometimes only a week. You will get most of your reports. I've done it with another Leeds in England, and I send the same scouts to the same regions, right? But I told them not to include results in other recruitment focuses. What does this do? Essentially, if you send one scout to Brazil and another scout to Brazil, both of them are looking at different players. So they don't come back to you with the same recommendations. That is important. If you're the sort of person like me that sometimes like to rotate scouts within a zone, right? So you can do that. So top, how many scouts do you need to send? Does it make a difference? Yes, it does. If you send 2 scouts, you might get your reports in 3 weeks. If you send 3 scouts, you might get full reports in 3 weeks. You might. Big word here is might. I've had complete reports within 2 weeks when I signed 3 scouts. When I signed 2 scouts, sometimes I get it within 3 weeks. Sometimes I started one scouting assignment in July, 1st of July. All my scouting assignments were completed by the 27th, including the ones which had top priority, which is I sent 2 scouts. So I did several, 2 scouts, 1 scout. I did it all. I did a test. It seems to me that the difference is about a week. And the other big difference when you send 2 scouts, more scouts and less scouts, is you get more players when you send more players, when you send more scouts, which is like kind of annoying. So you might get 50 in progress with 2 scouts and you get 10 in progress with 1 scout because of naturally, it makes sense because that 1 scout can't cover so many players, right? On top of that, sometimes they don't go for matches, right? I'm assuming they don't go because in one of these, I got a lot of recommendations of players. No matches were being played. I did one with Egypt, right? The season starts in October. I sent my scouts in July. They came back with 5 recommendations. No games have been played. So obviously they've gone into the database, picked players based on reputation, based on their attributes and how likely they are to fit into my system. So we go top. We'll assign 2 scouts. We'll come in here. We'll just pick 2 scouts. Naturally, I don't have any attributes. We'll add 1 analyst. Okay. We're going to ask for transfer, 15 to 21. But now we're going to choose the area. We're going to choose a couple of nations, right? Denmark, Norway, Portugal, Sweden. We've got all this. Further details, add a height. You got to redo it all over again. If you change your tactic or you do what I just did. God. Transfer. Got to do it all over again. Top 4 areas are here. So we got our scouts here, right? So we got to set 2 scouts here. And 1 analyst. Top. Done. Drop this to half a star. Transfer, no transfer. Further details, you got height. Okay, so this is gonna be Denmark and all. Okay, you gotta give it a name. Don't do it without a name, right? You're gonna regret it later. Gonna remove this. Okay, so we're gonna just use this and ask our scouts to go out. So we got 2 scouts. Now I don't have many scouts, right? So I'm just gonna be very, very safe and just use 2. Now we're just gonna look for a defender. Okay, maybe 20 to 29. Okay, current ability now is important. Okay, you want somebody who matches the current ability of your squad. Okay, most of my players are about 2.5 star. So we're gonna go 2.5 star to about potential ability minimum 3.5 stars. So between this and this, any areas, we're gonna choose an area. Again, we're gonna go to the same old countries we like. We're going to go to Denmark. We're going to go to... Okay, I tell you what we'll do is we'll make this different, okay? We choose Africa. I want to go to Africa. 2 defenders, ball playing defenders for both these zones. Further details, yep, height. Okay, Africa. So we just discovered one thing. As long as you click on the damn page, you'll be fine. Okay, something I learned right now. So we got all this done, right? So, all right, now we're going to our scouting. We're going to go to our short list. This is our short list already. Remember, I'm looking for defenders, right? We're going to look for defenders. So we got all these defenders here. This is the ones that we shortlisted earlier. So let's, there's one player here who doesn't have any data. So it's okay. Control A, Control P, web page, recent, export, defender, upload, defenders. Let's go. Okay, so these are all the defenders right now. So we come in here. Here, what are we doing? We're comparing them to our current players, right? So our current players, if I wanted to, I'll just have to go to our current players and then find out what our current players' numbers are like. So Homer Martinez, Colombian 184, can play as the DM, that's not too bad. 5.768, okay. So our best defender right now, Tobias at 5.7. So if I reload this, right, I only need to beat 5.7. So these guys are the ones that we will look at, right? So 5.458, which is Batella. Batella is not bad, about 5.458. Just because we know him as a quantity, it's not too bad. Okay. So if we probably are going to send someone out to Homer Martinez. Okay, Homer Martinez. We come into our shortlist. So we got Homer Martinez here. All right. So what does the scout report say? Enjoys big matches, fairly consistent, fairly susceptible to injuries. Okay. How much does it cost? He's not too bad. Transfer value, about 30K to 300K. Yeah. This definitely, I think, at 293 per annum, he's not a bad option. I'm going to do now to come to this guy. Miscellaneous. Create a note. So potential. Signing. Okay. So we're going to compare here. I mean, you could actually come into your squad planner and convert this squad planner into a kind of like, in the future, I'm going to sign players kind of thing, right? So ding, 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 ding. Short list. Where's that guy? Homer Martinez. We're going to reach a point where they're going to start making recommendations as well, and then they're going to disappear. And you will find them here. All the players that disappear are going to be here. We got 1,464 disappeared players. So come in here, whittle it down to 127. Okay. All right. So we got all these players now, and then we're going to do interested in transfer. Okay, these are all the players that are interested in coming. Okay. So, now the problem is I don't know if these are good enough compared to the players that I have, right? So, what can we do? Yeah, we got data here. What do? We just add them to a shortlist. Okay, so we add this to our shortlist indefinitely. Mangrawati, we add him to our shortlist indefinitely. We basically look at the scout report. Enjoys big matches, fairly consistent. Has a lot of pace. Adam Anderson, again, what does this guy bring to the table? Scout report. Fair amount of pace. Asking price is slightly below market value. Not very good in the air. Hitting is not so good. I mean, has requested to leave. That's interesting. He wants to leave the club. Okay, so we add him to our shortlist. Again, these are just our left backs. So come in here, upload. Limo left back. I want to find out what our number is. Basically, I need to see what the benchmark is for our boys. So defensive action, Tobias, Gustav, Connor. Okay, 4.43. That's high, man, for Devatech. Chance creation 6.64. Giacomo Ricci, who's been playing a lot of games, 3.87. So we use him as a benchmark. 3.817, 0.5. So he's the benchmark, right? Not him, because he's going to be leaving the club. Although it's good. No? Apparently, Devatech is playing really well. But I didn't play him for a lot of games, right? We only played him for a few games. Stats, right? How many appearances did Devatech have? 5 appearances compared to his 26. So over time, averages and all, yeah, I think he would have been closer to this number. So we'll go for somebody between 3.8 to 4.43. So now what I'll do is, I'll come in here, put the shortlist. This is something I wish SI would do. Like incorporate these kind of defensive actions and our scouts come back and say, hey, you know what? We have a player out there who's very good at bringing the ball out of defense, or he's fantastic at defensive actions in our own third. And he crosses the ball really well. Provides a lot of chances. And in our scouting list, we recommend play A because he compares quite closely to him in terms of statistics. That would be cool. So we added we added our players. We know that it's gonna be Riquelme. Riquelme is not bad. Okay, so he is a bit expensive, right? 6.2 to 7.6 million. And then we got two options that we're gonna look at: Usterwal and Riquelme. I don't think you guys saw that, right? So in terms of the score lines, you see this Riquelme, he matches 5.3, and then this Ustad is 3.726 compared to, I think, our own players. Devatak is 4.453, but he plays very few games compared to our regular starter Richie is 3.817. So the way I look at it, I think that these two players could fit into our team. Okay, scouting. See, now we got scouting, right? We got all these nations, Africa. You come in here now. Or one in progress. See, we don't have this league loaded. So this player is now being recommended to us. What you do right now is important because sometimes these recommendations disappear. So what we're going to do is we're going to add him to our shortlist, right? We have a shortlist going on over the other side. Yeah, he goes there. So here we got 50 in progress. 50 players between the ages of 15 to 21. Now, what they're going through is what is known as a current ability check. Okay, so before the current ability check gets, these players won't all disappear, right? They won't all disappear. When the scouting report is done, they'll go into this completed tab, and then you can come in here and check, like, this is completed. This one just means that everyone failed the CA check. Denmark and all failed the CA check. This one, I did all failed the CA check. This one, Defenders Africa. This one we cancelled earlier. So this is Africa, right? You got one in progress. Then you got 50 here. So this is simply after 1 week, right? 1 week, after 1 week, you get your first report. You're going to pay a lot of attention to your scouting in the first 3 weeks. Because then you start, I tend to make my decisions then. Don't wait until the final recommendation comes. You might regret it later. See this? This is the first report. Within 1 week, you get the first one. Then at this point, like, they will tell you they're struggling. So what I've done is I've added him to my shortlist. Then over here, we appear to be struggling, right? I'm like, shit, man, there's 40 here and you're struggling. Of course, these are all the players. So let's just randomly take one. This guy's A+. He must be exciting. This is not a bad player, okay? Very consistent, good position and decisions. What is he? He's a defender, defensive midfielder. Yeah, competitive streak, that's fine. It just means that he's gonna, drop a yellow card once in a while. So come in here again. Wait. 40 in progress. So what do we do with this guy? We add him to our shortlist. Okay. Come in here, Gustav Grube. Same thing. Read this, right? Okay. Has some improvements to make in physical strength. That's not too bad, right? For a young player, we can get him to improve over time. Matches the signing, good timing, the challenges, fantastic. Okay. I like that. Good personality as well. So what we'll do is add him to our shortlist. I like to do this right after the first week. After the first week, you're going to get all these recommendations. So take your time, go through them if you want to. And see how they fit into your system, because we are looking for youngsters that can possibly fit into our system right now. And they are from Norway. So we got one guy here, Kalion Kostov, a Bulgarian, plays with Benfica. Is a he can play as a NCB, but wow, 196. 196. I might want to sign this guy, man. So what we'll do is add him to our shortlist because he's playing in a league where we have data. In about another week's time, that list is going to get whittled out. So we got two potential left backs, right? Okay. So done, confirm. Now I go to my squad planner. Confirm, right? But the other one is we're gonna remove 1, 2, 3. Okay, add from shortlist. This is how I play. This is how I use the squad planner. Jaden Ustud is the one choice. The second one we got from the shortlist is the one we just saw. What's his name? Patrick Dogu. Oh yeah, and then the other one was Riquelme, right? Yeah. So these are the three that we have identified as potential left backs. This is the one defender that we have identified, but it's injury prone. That's the only downside, right? That's the only downside. But I think it's going to be superb. Yeah, this is our list of players that we saw. We reload this. I think it's this the one, right? There we go. Homer, these are all the defenders. Homer was here. Tudos, Altare, these are central defenders. This is where Homer Martinez fit in. If I upload the left back potentials, these are all the left back. Carlos Augusto is here. 1.84. Okay, this is the player. What did he do? He did like 3.30, which isn't that bad, but it doesn't create a lot of chances. 0.328 compared to the other players. 3.72. This guy creates a lot of chances. So that is Oosterwald. This one I may want to sign. Then the other Mangravati, who's got an A. See, my the thing is this, right? What I like about my tool, right, is the numbers, if they are all generating like this, normally I'll see A's, right? They will score an A here as well, right? So these are potential players that we want to sign. Carlos Augusto is not bad. Not bad, actually. Come to think of it. 1.84, average rating 6.77. I mean, that could be the tactic, but whoa, we can't sign him. Look at the wages, man. 1.2. I'm not signing him. He's got a no. He's out. We're gonna remove him. I can't afford him, man. That's way too expensive. So this is how I currently use a squad planner, because I find that the squad planner is best used when you want to scout for players, right? Because I can't remember half the players I scouted. So this is where the squad planner actually shines for me, because I can put them here. Then, it's a case of just removing all these players. I don't need players here. We've got plenty of cover. Because Saric, Segre, Gomez, Damiani, one of these players is leaving the club. This guy, so we remove him, right? He's leaving the club because his wages are 1.1 million, so we let him go. I think next season what we're gonna do is left back, central defender. That's what we're gonna do. This is how scouting works for me in the game, right? So when I go into the scouting module right now, I don't like the scouting module because the scouting module doesn't tell me the reason why I should sign the player. It just gives me an A. But if I were to go in and use data, I'll find out why that A exists. The A exists because this defender has got very good defensive actions. Maybe he's very good creatively as well. So I wish that the scouting module right now, the analysts, when they do give you these recommendations, why don't they just come back and tell us why that player should be scouted? Don't give me an A. For the sake of giving me an A, tell me why. What is it about that player that is so good? I mean, don't tell me he's got great pace and that's why you give him an A. Or he's got consistency and you give him an A, because that's information I can't act on. I can act on statistics that show me that he can add something to my game, or he may be better than a player that I already have in the game. This is my Dr. Jit tool, right? You have to use it in two places, right? So, speaking of which, I need to export this for you guys. Scouting. Notice this short list, right? You don't see this. This is not in your. We have to export this. So I'm going to export this BTN export from scouting list. I'm going to put it. It's already in the public folder. We're on Discord now. View. This one BTN export for scouting shortlist.